Well, we've made it back
Here
to
it is.
IMTS. Wade, it's so good to be on your booth, buddy. It's so good to see you.
Hey, I love it. I've been coming to this show since the early 90s, so exciting times.
Were you in diapers at that time?
Oh, yeah, you would think, right?
You would think.
I don't know, I'm aging a little bit.
You're aging well, might I say.
When I say the early 90s, I'm definitely showing my age at this point.
So we're getting ready to do a booth tour. I mean, your booth is huge. It's glowing when you step into IMTS this year.
It's amazing. And the behind the scenes stuff that people don't get to see, you get to see the sexy stuff here. You don't see that we've been working on it for over a year in advance. The months the AEs have put into the demos and the cutting demos, the 33, 36 trucks, I think it was, to bring all the equipment here. It's a massive undertaking by the company, and we're excited to have everybody here today.
I like that you started this whole thing off with a shout out to all the hardworking people that put this together.
Yep.
Because it's not just the glamour and glitz of what we're doing right now.
We wouldn't be here without them.
Gosh, I'm so happy you said that. So 14 machines, I believe we have.
14 machines under power.
Underpowered
One
today.
Skeleton machine. We'll show you that in a little bit. So
should we get this tour started?
Stuff. Let's do it. Absolutely.
All right, my friends, let's head over this way. You're gonna see a ton of people. So we're gonna do our very best not to run over people, but also be polite and show you what's going on at each of the booths at the same time.
We're gonna work our way through
Let's
the crowds
navigate
here.
this one first and foremost. As we get through here, I'm already seeing some excitement with automation, Wade.
Right.
What are we looking at?
So this is the really cool stuff that we get to show are the possibilities. Our tagline is open possibilities. So what we're showing here is a tool change on a lower turret of a Multus machine, our mill turn multitasking machine. So this is a Multus U3000, and we have a lot of people always ask us, hey, we're automating this machine. Can we tool change off the lower turret with the robot? So our purpose here, this isn't necessarily the solution that a customer is going to want, right? We're just showing 3 tools. But in a show environment, in a small amount of real estate, we're showing people, yes, we can use a robot, we can take tools in and out, we can track the logic on it. So now what do you need? We could take this and scale it up to a CTS system with an FMS system or something along those lines. This is just to start planting that seed, start having those conversations with customers. So this is a Multus U3000, our flagship in the mill turn line, and then showing some simple automation to spark those conversations that we really want to have with customers.
Yeah, you've already said it. I'm going to say it again. When you watch this video, when you watch this tour of the entire booth, get creative. These are ideas and concepts. Wade's already said it best, but these are to get you inspired to go, hey, Wade, I have this problem, this issue. Can you help me? And the answer will probably be yes.
Yes.
But that's what this is for, to get creative. The second thing I want to talk about here, because you mentioned it already, when you look at these machines, when I look at these machines, I think how many times it's a one and done. It's a done in one. These machines are so versatile and flexible that a lot of things, raw parts, finished product, it makes sense to add automation, doesn't it? And really,
absolutely.
Now we can do measuring, now we can do parts washing, now we can get it out of the machine and let people go about their business.
That's right. So this is loading tools, but this could be loading parts, it could be loading gauging, any kind of operation that you need that's going to take your business to the next level. There's ways that we can approach that and tackle those challenges.
And what's that tagline again as we start walking?
Open possibilities. You're going to see it all around our booth as we go
I
around.
know it, Wade. I just like it when you say it, because open possibilities, it is so true. Now we have a machine on the right, which I want to talk about, but something really cool here on the left. Now it's my right.
Yeah.
You guys care so much about your partners, your customers, the people you work with. That's what's going on here, isn't it?
Right. So this is a survey station. So we've got 4 iPads basically set up where customers can come in, scan their badge, opens up a survey, and it goes through and asks them simple questions on, how many machines do you have? What type of work are you in? How's Okuma service? What services do you see that we're offering that are beneficial to you? What are services that you see that we're not offering that we need to be offering? So really want to hear the voice of the customer. This is a great way to get it done. And then when they do the survey, they get a free Okuma hat as a thank you token for doing that. Coming by, spending some time in the booth, taking time to do this survey.
Well, I'm definitely going to hop on that survey. I got to get a hat.
Absolutely. I don't even have one of those hats yet.
Well, you got to do the survey.
That's right, yeah.
Even though you are who you are.
I'm in charge of a lot of machines. I don't own any of them, though. So.
Gantry loading, I see. Automation is key. We're in the turning side of things.
Yes.
What are we looking at here?
So, and I probably should have pointed that out. You're in the turning aisle of Okuma. So we've got this booth separated out by turning and then milling. So we're on the turning side of things. So everything you're going to see over the next little bit are turning machines. I love a gantry loader.
Me too, buddy.
Gantries are typically what we're going to go to if it's high volume type production. So when you want to set it up one time, run millions of parts, I'm going to outrun a robot all day long with a gantry loader. fastest form of automation that we have. And I don't know if you'd be able to pick this up on camera with the ambient noise. That gantry loader is absolutely silent as it's running up and down the track. It is an absolutely beautiful engineered piece of automation. So we've got raw material that goes in on the left side, and this can be configurable. This is just how we're showing it for the show. So we've got the raw material being loaded in on as the operator's facing the machine, left side of the machine. Gantry loads a shaft type part into the spindle. Then it comes into the finished good drop-off area. So now we can have this configured so that we have 2 stalkers on one side and maybe a gauging station and an outbound chute, things of that nature. So this is to show one example, but then again, open possibilities. What do you need? How can this be configured to you? Something else is a little unique that we've never shown in my time. I've been with Okuma over 19 years now. This is our first time showing it at the show, is a standalone freestanding gantry, meaning we can field retrofit this to machines that we have in inventory.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So
I hadn't seen that before either.
Yeah, this is our opportunity to kind of show some of that type of engineering that we're bringing to the table.
That's very
part
cool.
of the Okuma factory automation team.
You know, every now and again, there's a mind-blown moment, and you're just like, okay, thank you for that.
Yeah.
So something else that you didn't mention that I love about gantry units is just the floor space savings.
Oh,
you
absolutely.
mentioned the speed, but we look over there, and yes, cobots, robots, they make sense in certain worlds, right? But look at all the space. You and I could dance if we wanted to. I'm sorry about that, by the way.
Robot loaders
could dance if we wanted to.
Absolutely. Robot loaders typically take up a little more room in front of the machine, where this is taking up room above the machine.
Right.
So that's the one piece of consideration when you're looking at a gantry loader, that arm coming up, do you have the ceiling height for it? And if you do, this is a great space-saving way to go about automating your machine tool.
Yeah, speed and space savings, 2 of my favorite things about
Absolutely.
gantry loading. All right, my friends, let's slide over here. We got 14 machines to look at, plus there's so much automation going on. Wade and I could be with you guys for the next 3 days if we really went into the details. What do you think? 3 days, Wade? Can we talk
Minimum.
for 3 days?
3 days. I can do that easy.
You and I have done podcasting before. We know how to
Absolutely.
drag out a conversation, right?
Or we can speed it up. I can go into auctioneer mode.
But
if
then
I
we
need
sound
to.
like Mickey Mouse.
So we've got a couple of new machines that we're debuting at the show this year. So the first one on my left is the LB4000. This is our first time showing this platform of machine with a sub spindle. So one of the things that you'll notice as you go throughout the booth, we're also debuting our P500 control. So this is our latest generation of OSP control from Okuma. So you'll notice it's got an all new P500 color scheme, design scheme, and the new control, which has a lot more horsepower than what we had on the previous generation. And where we see that come into play is the world between 5-axis, it's a lot more taxing on controls. We need more horsepower as all these processes start coming together. But also when you start looking into the future, where are things like AI going to take us? What kind of computing horsepower do you need to do some of the data extraction that you're going to need to keep your shop on that leading edge? So this new control gives us the horsepower we need to get into those type of atmospheres.
You know, I don't have that conversation a whole lot, Wade, but I'm really happy you brought that up because you're right. I've had programs lock up because there just wasn't enough space, there wasn't enough information, there wasn't enough control in my control, and it would just freeze, or it wouldn't read it in time, and my program would go too far into the program. I've had so many accidental mistakes, but based on the software side of things. And AI is gonna do some things over the next few years. I'm really happy you brought that up.
You look at the connectivity that our machines go through in today's environment. Back and dating myself again, right?
I was just doing the same.
Go back into the 90s when I was programming and running machines. All my code needed to do was run that machine, run that part. I didn't have 15 peripheral devices connected to that, taxing the CPU of that control. Today, we would never, almost hardly ever, put a machine on the floor that the only thing it does is run that part. They're connected to your ERP system or to your robot, there's all these different peripheral devices, plus some of the newer technologies, you know, the things that you get into with 5-axis machining, tool center point control, tilt, planes, things of that nature. Just takes a lot more horsepower than what they did when I was running machines back in the day.
Yeah, for you younger folks out there, you might need to Google what a floppy drive is or some of this tape stuff that Wade and I might be talking about.
That's how I started my career. Was
you and me both, buddy.
Tape. Yep.
So I would make the discussion, when I think of Okuma, I think larger pieces, dominating larger pieces.
Absolutely.
You and I have discussed around that 8-inch mark that just really
Right.
holds it down in that world. But
Yeah.
you have something else new over here as well, don't you?
Absolutely. So this is the LB2000. This is really our platform to get us into that 6-inch, that smaller type work. As you pointed out, all of my career, I've always known Okuma for our strength is 8 inches and up. You know, that's kind of always been our wheelhouse. So this is a machine that we're bringing in to really have a better offering to that 6-inch and smaller type workpiece sizes. So beautiful technology, beautiful machine, everything that you've known in the LB line for years and years. Very first chip I ever cut was LB15. I had to think of the model name off the top of my head. LB15 at a company called Holset in Charleston, South Carolina.
Kudos for remembering that.
Yeah, that goes back into the 80s, right? All the way to today. This LB line is the history and the lineage of our company. So this gives us a new offering for that smaller workpiece size.
As we walk over to the next automation cell that's over here, Wade,
Yeah.
I kind of want to discuss how you guys at Okuma are so capable all the time of addressing customer needs on the machine side. You seem so inventive, and each of these machines are tried and true and tested before they're ever released. But every day it seems like, wait, there's something new Okuma's offering. There's something new I get to talk to Wade about, and you're making sure that everyone. How do you go about doing that?
So some of it we have research teams, obviously. I'm sure every company does, right? We're researching the marketplace. We're listening to the customers. Our regional sales teams, for an example, live in the field Monday through Friday every week, seeing customers, listening to what their needs are. We have regular meetings set up in Japan. We call them a GMM meeting. It's our time to sit with the executives of Japan and request new enhancements, design changes, things of that nature. But I would say most importantly is we use our own machines in production. So when you go to our Dream Site factories in Japan, that's wall-to-wall Okuma machines making all the equipment that you see that is producing the machines that you see on the floor here today.
Mother machines making mother machines.
Absolutely. So the cell behind me, you really teed that up really nicely, by the way.
I may have done this before.
So this came from our Japanese engineers using equipment with automation and having problems where they had to stop the machine mid-cycle and trying to restart it, or they had to do a changeover to a new job and was frustrated at how cumbersome it was to set up a new job, go from job to job, or to restart it if you had a crash or something catastrophic. So this is what we call the Smart Twin Cell. It runs a digital twin of the machine and the automation environment, and you set up all of the programming offline in a virtual environment. That gets pushed to, and I turn and smack the camera. That gets pushed to the Smart Twin Cell controller that is driving the actual automation. So you're going from virtual environment to real world environment, and all of the programming is done in this virtual environment. The days of me coming over here with a teach pendant like I used to do years ago, you saw my LinkedIn post a while back. I opened up my toolbox. It was like a time capsule. I had my old Moto Man certification.
It's good to revisit sometimes, isn't it?
That's from back in the 90s, right? Well, that was the days I'm teaching robots with teach pendants. We're not doing that today. That's done in a virtual environment, pushed over here. And then if I need to fine tune the pickup place, my MPG wheel tied to this control drives my robot. I can fine tune that pickup point, teach that, and I'm running. I'm in full production mode. All of the collision avoidance, all of the interference, all of the traffic cop work that a control needs to do to drive a stalker table, a blow-off station, a gauge station, all of that is done in this control. So the need of a systems integrator is removed. This comes straight out of the box. You could walk up and program this within an hour of me showing you the software. You would be programming this on your own. That's how simple this is, and it came about from them using the equipment in Japan.
You were reading my mind actually,
Yeah.
Wade, because while you were describing that, I was thinking to myself, wait, I could actually go back to my machining days again with
Right.
something this easy and feel
Yeah.
confident about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, by this time, I'm about 13, 14 years out of the field, but
Yeah.
this makes it, that's incredible. That's great technology.
It's a beautiful piece of equipment. So
Now, okay,
So
I'm
we're
excited about this area as well, Wade. I mean,
too.
you can look at my arm. I have chills right now, and it's not just from the air conditioning because this is the step into the future.
It
when
really
I
is.
see an entire cell being run without any human beings, this is how we can profit. This is how we succeed.
Right.
This, I want to learn more about.
So this actually all started when I first started the Okuma Factory Automation Division over a year ago. We sat down, we started thinking about IMTS, and I said, I want to show the depth of what we're capable of doing from an automation standpoint, but with the restraint of I've got a small amount of real estate to do it in, right? Space is a premium in a show like this. So how do we pack the most that we can in a small amount of real estate? So we started with the Okuma robot loader, standard off-the-shelf product that you could plug and play onto your machine tomorrow. A robot in a box, essentially. So from that, we took that system and then I looked at it and said, okay, now what would I do from a human resource standpoint? If I'm the operator, what do I have to do to run that? Well, I've got to load parts. Okay, well, now take me out of the equation. So we put a Fanuc CRX collaborative robot there to do some other value-added things. We could do part inspection, we could load the system, we could do blow-off station, wash stations, things of that nature. So we're taking the operator out of that equation. Now what's the next step? Well, somebody's got to get parts to the operator, to that robot. Okay, so I don't want to have manpower driving the parts over there. So we tied in a auto AMR to go over and pick the carts up and drive the parts to the robot. So we're actually feeding two different machines, essentially as standalone cells, and it's all tied together through automation. We've got beautiful software that ties all of this together that again makes it very simple for launching it on a production floor, but also being able to make changes to it to match your needs. So again, this isn't something a customer's not going to walk in and go, oh my gosh, Tony, thank you so much.
I want to buy this cell.
I've been looking for a grinder and a multis and a robot. I know that's not realistic, but there's going to be people that walk in, and it's already happened this morning where they said, now wait a minute, I want to drive parts, but I don't want to drive my work pieces. I've already got that figured out. I need to drive tool holders to my ATC. Can you do that? Absolutely. That, what you're seeing drive right there, instead of a cart of parts, that could be a cart full of HSK tool holders or Cat 40 Big Plus tool holders going to my machining center. That could be going to a robot feeding an ATC instead of feeding the work holding. So there's so much that we can unpack and have meaningful conversations based on the work that was done for this. So that's why I'm so excited about this. We're showing off-the-shelf automation, pre-engineered to full custom integration. Then we can have that conversation. What do you really need? Do you need 8 machines and a robot on a rail? We can do it. This team, we can demonstrate we can do that type of work. Or do you need 1 machine, 1 robot doing simple loading? We got you covered.
Yeah, and I agree with you. You know, you've described it best again, but for everyone watching, this is to get creative and to learn and to grow and to apply where it works for you. This is just a sampling of what can be done, and to give Wade a call, give Okuma a call, go, can I? What are the possibilities? Can I? Because, yeah, when I look at this, Wade, this is now. This is not just the future, but the now.
Always like the line, the answer's yes. Now what's your question? Right.
You know, I used to work as an interior design, Wade, and they used to say, can I do that? I say, for a price, you could do it whatever you want.
Right.
So horizontal machining. We're now on to horizontal machining.
Anybody that's known me in this industry for a while knows my love of horizontals. Anytime I look at a part, my brain automatically goes to horizontals. We have the best horizontals in the business. This is our brand new 400 millimeter pallet size horizontal, our MA 4000. So it's the next generation of our MA series horizontal machining center. 400 millimeter pallet size. We've got a lot of automation offerings that we can offer on this. We really wanted the spotlight because this was a new machine debut. We didn't want automation on this one for the show, just to be able to have customers get up, see the design on the machine, see inside of it, that kind of thing. But we can put these on FMS systems. We've got tower APC systems, single level APC systems, robotic solutions. There's a lot of automation we can do on horizontals. So again, what do you need? We can have those conversations.
And you and I both love horizontals. We can walk over here to a beautiful piece that's a little bit younger than I am, but you and I both love horizontals, right? And it's because of the chips dropping down, the coolant, the gravity, the tool chains. Yeah, stack up parts on the tombstone. I mean, there's just so much that works well in that world. All right, Wade, so, this looks like something.
This is about my age here. This is when I started cutting chips. No, I'm just kidding.
I said it's younger than me already, right?
So this was to give a nod to our heritage as a machine tool builder. Okuma was founded in 1898, right? Wow. So we're one of the old machine tool companies in existence. And this machine is a roughly about a 1922 era lathe. So this goes back to where it was belt driven. And I love when young engineers coming out of college walk up and they look at this and they're like, I don't understand what drives the spindle. belts from a central pulley system drove that spindle.
That's right.
So it's fun to be able to see this. But we got our patent for our first lathe in 1914, started producing production lathes for the outside market in 1918. So we've been in this game for a long, long time. This is really to show people when they walk in, they can say, man, look at the history and the heritage of Okuma. And then in a booth this big, if you're coming in saying, hey, wait, I need to meet you, where are you located? I can say, oh, go to the back of the booth by the old lathe, I'll meet you there. So it's also a little bit of a marker. Right.
Also, might I just add, for any young machinists out there that have the same question that Wade mentioned about how does the spindle turn, think about your bicycles. When you're switching gears, it's kind of doing the same thing. That bike chain is powering, you know, it's your legs, of course, but the bike chain in essence is kind of doing the same thing. And I agree with you. Also, just as a fun segue, head over to the American Precision Museum. You can see a lot of that. Support those guys over in Vermont. You will love it, I promise you. Horizontal some more. Again, the same place you and I like a lot, but this one's a little bit bigger.
This is
600 millimeter.
This is one of my favorite machines in the entire Okuma lineup, and yes, I'm a little bit biased because I love horizontals.
Maybe a little, but it's okay to be. When you have something great, it's okay to be.
Absolutely. So this is our MA600. This is our Mark III version. So this is the third generation of this machine. Doing a really cool turn cut
get in there right now. Oh my gosh, that is awesome looking.
So we are making the world's most expensive cornhole boards. I don't know that to be a fact, but I'm sure they are very expensive. Thousands of dollars.
Are they really cornhole boards?
They are actually cornhole boards.
That's amazing. How can I win one?
To give a shout out to Oak Ridge National Labs, their engineer that runs their 5-axis machines walked over here. Her name's Lauren. She walked over, took that, and got a hole-in-one, I believe, her very first toss.
Wow.
So I'm not going to play with her with any money on the line by any means.
No, I don't blame you. But can you bring those with you when you come see me in South Florida? We'll play on the beach?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Count me in.
Awesome. I like that. All right, so back to the machining side of things.
Right. So 600 millimeter, 630 millimeter size pallet machine. This machine, we've got a lot of different spindle options. So we can go from low grunt work RPM, high torque applications, all the way up to high speed applications as well. But this is one of our biggest, strongest machines. We do a lot in the aerospace market with this type of machine. Everything from doing steels, aluminum. Obviously, this is showing a lot of different type of materials. This is also the machine we do a lot of massive titanium cutting in. So this is really a powerhouse workhorse machine. And again, I love horizontals, but you look at the design, the build, the construction, I could sit here and talk to you for a day just on the design and build of this machine alone. So it's a massive, strong machine. I'll go head to head with anybody in the market with a machine like this.
You know, I would love to sit down with you for a full day and talk about this machine.
We can do it.
Should we do that at some point, my friend? Should we get with Wade and sit down? We can do that. We can make that happen. But
Absolutely.
For now, we got to continue the booth tour,
let's
don't
keep
we?
moving.
All right,
so we are moving into the vertical
machining center
line of machining centers.
Which I'm going to jump ahead a little bit because then we'll step backwards.
Okay.
So when we're looking at these vertical machining centers, we're actually going to get to see the guts of one just around the corner, aren't we?
That's right. Absolutely.
So stay tuned for that as well, my friends.
Yep.
All right, I've seen automation again, Wade.
Right, so this is also a new debut of the P500 version of the MB46. So this is the latest generation, one of our smaller vertical machining centers. This ranges from a 3016 and then we go up to about a 3060 size in this classification of machine, the MB vertical. But we're also debuting the Okuma mobile robot. So this is using a Fanuc CRX cobot. So it's a collaborative robot and it's on a cart. So it's got very simple to operate, user-friendly graphical programming language. And then you can move that just like a shopping cart essentially from machine to machine. If you decide I need a production run here and I want to run it overnight, we can pull the cart up, put it in place. There's a vision system. You see the grid on the machine right there? Mm-hmm. The camera takes a picture of that to reorient itself because this is a mobile cart. Takes a picture, says, okay, now I know where I'm at, picks a part up. We're using all 5th axis vices in this setup and load the part. Then tomorrow you come in and say, okay, I just need an operator to do a setup job and I need my production machine on a different one. I unplug this cart, I roll it down to the next machine, plug it in, and then I can automate that machine. So it's literally meant to be a mobile robot that could go machine to machine with very simple, user-friendly programming language where you don't need a skilled operator.
Again, we're talking about how easy you're making things happen, how available it is to anyone who might come into a shop new, or with a lot of years in practice, right? You're just making it easier.
How do you get people to adopt new technology?
You got to make it easy.
Make it easy.
You scare people off, it's never going to happen.
If it's hard and complicated, they're going to walk away from it. Absolutely.
Well, I'm glad you're making my job today not hard or complicated. You're making my job today as well easy as well, Wade.
Right.
Should we stop here real quick? I know we're going to look at the guts of this machine, but I know how important your partners are, you know?
Absolutely.
And I think it's worth just discussing real quick.
Yep. Okuma, we've had a partner program really since 2007 timeframe is when our partners at the time, it was called Partners in Think, that has been renamed to, we used to call the OSP control, the Think Control, THINC. Nobody really got the acronym, so we dropped the Think acronym and we just changed it to technology. So it's Partners in Technology, and it's all of our partner companies that allow us to make customer parts, right? So there's an old line that I've always liked to use, and I think Jeff Estes was one of the first guys that used it, used to work for us for many years. He said, if an Okuma machine ever touches a part, you've had a really bad day. Our machine should never touch the customer's part. The cutting tool, the work holding, there's other aspects that touch the part, but our machine tool never should. So these are all the people that touch the customer's part, not our machine tool, right? So it's everything that we need to be able to put parts into production, really be able to let people have the leading edge technology. And we have a facility in Charlotte called the Partners in Technology facility. And we've got typically on average 15 machines on the floor at any given time. All of our partner companies have their own key to get in and out of the facility. They can come in, test out all of their software, all of their tooling, anything that they want to do to be able to bulletproof their designs and what they're doing on our machines and our equipment. So one of the best processes that I've ever known from that aspect.
Yeah, Partners in Technology. I like the rebrand. Yep. I like that a lot. All right, now we're gonna head over here where we are gonna touch the Okuma machine.
Certainly. So this is something we've got a lot of our VIPs here in front. So this is our opportunity to really be able to show the DNA of Okuma vertical machining centers. So when you look at the MB that's behind me with the sheet metal on, it's hard to, from an engineering standpoint, to show people what's different between that machine and any other machine in this aisle.
That's correct.
At IMTS. But when we can take the covers off and let you see the iron, let you see the balance of design and the construction of the machine, be able to show how our axes are separated. And then I can talk in depth about what does that do from a harmonic standpoint? What does that do from a chip making process? It lets us be able to have deeper conversations around why this machine is so much different from anybody else in the marketplace. So, and that really tracks its heritage all the way back to our double column machining centers that we've been building since the 1960s. We're one of the world leaders in double column machining centers. And we've taken those big, large machines and we've scaled that design down to these smaller vertical machines. So this lets you see our DNA out in the open. And very few companies have
allow that to happen.
Yeah, have the
it takes
guts to do
show the guts.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, you mentioned on the 600 horizontal over there how you put it head to head against anyone, right?
Anyone,
and
absolutely.
The world of the guts of the machine comes from being able to showcase it like
That's
this.
Right.
Are we allowed to invite everyone watching to Japan to see how these things are made
Absolutely.
as well? Can we invite everyone? Head over to Japan, over to Okuma, take a look. Let's keep on going down the vertical aisle here. We're actually doing quite well, Wade. How's your voice?
Right.
You doing okay?
I'm doing great.
14 machines, a little bit of 1800s technology coming through from
We're
Okuma.
covering it all right now.
You are doing amazing. You're my hero today.
Listen at you. So this is a great machine. This is one of our 5-axis machines, Genos M560 5AX. It's a 500 millimeter size 5-axis machine. So again, it's our debut of the P500 and the P500 redesign of this version. But we're also showing the Okuma mobile robot. This is the Okuma mobile robot MC. So really classified for machining centers. This could also find its way onto multis machines, mill turn machines, things of that nature. But this is a very unique setup. It's a 3-sided robotic system. And again, the purpose of it is to be that standard robot right out of the box, doesn't need a systems integrator to be able to install it, get it up and running. So you can do a lot of parts in a small amount of real estate. We could load any of our vertical machining centers or 5-axis machines or even mill turn machines, things of that nature with this. So a little bigger robot, a little bigger capacity from a weight standpoint. And then there's a couple of different options we've got from a work holding standpoint. This is showing the patented multi-grip system. So your end effector is essentially the work holding itself. And so that allows you to go from part to part to part with zero changeover. You create your work holding, get it in the system, then you can change over from part to part to part without any downtime on the spindle. Or we could do a pallet version of this. So if you're using pallet, using 5th axis vices or other Jergens or whatever company that you've partnered up with, we can put together a system like this that would be using pallets instead. So a lot of flexibility in a cell like this.
Wade, I often have so many questions as a follow-up, but you're so inclusive with your explanations. It leaves me with very little follow-up, but I just want to kind of reiterate one point you made. When people think automation a lot of times, when we spoke about it a little bit over on the gantry where there are millions of parts, hundreds of thousands of parts, this actually can be used for that high mix, low volume, right?
Exactly, that's its sweet spot. That's the target area you really want to look at things like this. I used to hear people say, oh, I can't put a robot on my machine because I do small lot sizes. I'm a job shop. That's exactly where you want to put a robot on a machine.
Exactly right.
So yeah, we've got ways to be able to do that. And the programming on this, I feel like I'm a broken record. I keep saying the same thing over and over, but the programming on this is simplified. It's a conversational type program. So you're not teaching the robot how to get in and out of the machine tool. All you're doing is saying, hey, here's my next part. Here's the width. Here's the size of it. And all of that is pre-taught. So when it comes in, it's ready to go. We have to touch up where the center line of the spindle is based on where it's located. And then after that, you're not teaching that robot from that point on.
Absolutely right. So I'm going to give you a tidbit of information. You may already know this already as we slide over to this next machine. But did you know, Wade, that it takes the average person 8 times to see one commercial in order for them to realize what that one commercial is selling them? So if you feel like a broken record, that is an important thing.
All right,
we must reiterate how easy it is to use, how customer friendly everyone is. This is all worth reiterating because there are folks out there who need it, who are afraid, that don't want to leave the comfort zone, that once they leave the comfort zone or want to go right back to it, right? And you guys allow somebody to thrive in a manner that allows them to be, and I've used it already twice, but comfortable. And I think that's really important to say 8 or 9 times, almost like a commercial, so it sticks with us. And we can go, we're going to be global leaders here in the US and across the world. Manufacturing is so important. It makes everything around us, and you guys are helping with that. I've now given my long-winded viewpoint about commercials, and you being not a broken record, but an important repeating aspect. So now we have a Aroa system. Now we're working Okuma here. What are we doing?
So this is an MU4000, 400 millimeter size, 5-axis machine, and again, designed for automation. So all the MU 5-axis machines from Okuma are designed for automation. So on this, the automation comes in from the side, and what's important for us from an operability, as I'm getting tongue-tied trying to say that word.
I like operability though.
It allows openness to the front of the machine for the operator to be able to have access to the control, to get in, see the part, get access to the spindle or tool holder, anything like that. So the whole front of the machine remains open in this aspect. So the pallet system goes on the side. That could be an Okuma APC. It could be a Fasten's Tower APC and a Roa system. We've got a lot of options. Could be a robot loading the side. We've got a lot of options to be able to load our 5-axis machines and allow that operator to have full access to the front of the machine. And that's going to be the same talking point I'm going to share with you on our bigger machine, but a different piece of automation. This will be showing Okuma pallet systems. So this is our MU6300, 630 millimeter table, and this is really our flagship for our larger size parts. It's got a beautiful workpiece showing off of aerospace, kind of a root, radial root form milling process. So this trunnion is supported on both sides, driven from both sides. So it gives us a lot of support, a lot of strength. So your hard to machine materials, this is where we thrive with a machine like this. And one of the unique offerings to me, again, as I talk about the MU series, all the automation goes to the back. So the operator has full access to the front of the machine and the control, and then we'll work our way around to the pallet system.
And as we work our way around, Wade, I know you have something very special to show the audience in the back with the automation, but I just want to be, again, for me now, a broken record, reiterating that high mix, low volume. When we get into these pallet change systems, you could have a different job on every single one of them, or the same job. It's totally up to the person investing. Let's just not get stuck in automation is for high job opportunities. It's for everyone.
Absolutely.
So I just want to kind of reiterate that for everyone. Now this is cool.
I love it.
This is cool.
This is something we've been pushing for quite a while, is a new version of an Okuma pallet pool system. So this is a 2-level system. We can take this from a 2 APC essentially 2, 4, 6, and then you jump into the bigger systems like this, 10, 11, all the way up to 21 pallets before you need to jump into an FMS type operation. So on this, we're using the same bones, if you will, of a normal Okuma pallet pull system. The new feature on it is these shelves are elevating. So instead of the elevator being in the center where your pivot or your robot system would be, our shelves are elevating. So it's just a unique design in a real space-saving atmosphere. So gives us a lot of flexibility, to your point, to put a lot of work into the system. And it could be that you need to put up a lot of work to have production to get you through the weekend or through the week. Or I know people who set these up and they have job 1, job 2, job 3, and they load it up and they're just waiting. And then when the customer purchase order comes in, all right, you're up. Bring that pallet in, let's machine it.
I've seen hot jobs come in all the time,
Absolutely.
Just like that. You're exactly right.
It allows you the flexibility to be fast to the market, to be able to respond fast to your customers. So there's a lot of different philosophies on how to use pallet systems to the best of their ability, and the best way to do it is what's important to you.
I agree with that, and that's a great way to close this whole tour out. But one thing I want to bring up just real quick before we have our closing statement. I'm sure you've thought of something powerful to close this out, Wade.
I have not, now I'm nervous.
Now I'm just setting you up, giving you time to think about it. But in a situation where these aren't going up and down, are we going more vertically? Are we getting bigger in the space, taking up more room? Because I know
it depends on the design.
Okay.
So if you get a chance, go to the Oak Ridge National Labs. They're in the new emerging technology area, and you'll see we've got a FPT system, which is a flexible pallet tower. I like saying FPT, a lot easier.
It is easier.
But on that, the elevator's in the center, so your shelves are stationary. So it's just a different design, different way to approach it.
Yeah, and I saw that in your showroom as well, I believe.
That's right, yeah, you've been there and seen it.
Yep.
So that's actually the system they put on that machine, but they customized it. They're doing some really unique, wild things, which again is very cool to be able to think, what else can I do? Here's your standard product, how do I make it my own? So I'm a Harley Davidson guy, right? I love my motorcycle, and I heard a famous motorcycle guy in the industry say Harley Davidson is the canvas of the soul. Nobody keeps their Harley stock. Yeah, that should go on a t-shirt, right?
Is it not already?
No, I'm sure whoever said that is trying to get them out by this point, but I just think that's such a great way to look at machines, at automation, is what can I do with it to make it my own, to make it meet my needs. And that's what we try to provide.
Absolutely incredible way to close this out for everyone watching. Wade, what is that slogan one more time?
Oh, well, I'm going to say it as a Harley Davidson, but Harleys are the canvas of the soul. It allows you to take that machine, make it your own. And I think of that as an engineer, as somebody over engineering at Okuma. How do we provide people the platform of having these machines and be able to tweak them and modify them and make them your own to do the production work that you need?
And what are the possibilities at Okuma?
Open possibilities.
Open possibilities, my friend. Stop by Okuma if you're here, or otherwise, just give Wade a call. He can, as you can see, he knows everything, right? Everything?
I don't know about that.
All right, my friends, thank you all for watching. This has been an incredible tour on the Okuma booth for IMTS 2024 on day one, and I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to spend time with Wade as well. Hope you've learned as much as I have today, because that was fascinating for me. Thank you, Wade.
Always a great time. Thank you.